Right. Okay, so right, Tom, we'll give everyone a couple of minutes just in case there's people that are just coming in. So we'll kind of officially kick it off in 2 minutes time or so. But keeping well then, keeping fit.
Yeah, keeping well at the moment in these times. Keeping my sanity by going on the Peloton. Wife luckily purchased right at the beginning of the year before this all happened, so being quite lucky, just be going on that consistently every day. So
yeah, I remember seeing you in January and you're all over that, so you're definitely ahead of the curve. It's getting very popular now, isn't it? So got a few friends on the old bike trail in their living rooms and gyms or whatever they got at home. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting trying to push on a bike when you're actually inside your house.
Yeah.
Clean up after yourself afterwards.
Has anyone else got a Peloton in the team?
No. A couple of people I've talked about it, but it is quite a big investment, to be fair.
Yeah. Who would be faster, you or Pete?
I got longer legs, so me.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, let's if we get going then. So I'll just get the screen ready. So Tom, there, thanks for joining me today to give us your time and impart some words of wisdom. Then, so obviously been a big year in general in lots of ways, but it seems like a busy year for the property sector as well. So for all the kind of ups and downs in the world, it does seem like it's a very sort of buoyant and busy time for lots of people. And you guys certainly seem flat out whenever I talk to any of you, really. So yeah, so do you want to kind of start off, I guess, for the audience point of view to talk about Design Work Studios and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Design Work Studio has been going for over 4 years now, founded by Pete and Danny. I've been with the business for 2 years now. And Design Work Studios really started off with Pete and Danny wanting to get into the residential sector and bringing what they learned in the commercial sector into the residential. And the years that we're doing that, introduce loads of modern designs that was inspired from London and bring it all into the residential sector. So from that, it's just been exponentially growing from that time. And when I joined about 2 years ago, we started getting more involved in terms of managing the construction, which is one of the reasons why I'm involved. We started to get more involved with the construction, and then over the past year, the kind of the market for refurbs and extensions has just gone has blown up, really, especially since what's been going off. I think a lot of people recently have been sitting in their homes. People who kind of were thinking about doing a project are almost fed up of not doing it and just really want to push forward and get it done. So recently we've seen a big push for the refurbs and extensions and just general improvement of people's homes in there. So in terms of like what I do for Design Work Studios, I'm the managing quantity surveyor for the team. So everything to do with construction at Design Work Studios, I will be involved with. So whether that be right at the beginning of the project in terms of making sure that designs or a brief from a client is going to be in line with what they want to spend on the project, but also getting into the technical aspect of, is the house and the work that they're going to be doing to the project actually going to be buildable? And is it going to be able to be delivered? So one of the reasons why I was employed at Design Work Studios was to stop what we call the grand design effects on projects, where clients would have an idea around here in terms of what they wanted to do on the projects, but kind of the budgets would be a little bit smaller than their aspirations. So it's really my job to control that expectation right from the beginning, to make sure that the designs that we put forward, not only do they look amazing, but they're also suiting the clients from their bank account point of view. You see it a lot on grand designs where they set a budget of about 200 grand, they have a baby, and then it goes up by double that. It's my job really to stop that from happening.
Interesting. All right. Good. Okay. Thanks for that. So you've kindly prepared sort of a few key areas in around the people's considerations really for that dream home project scenario. So I guess whether they're extending, kind of renovating, developing, whatever they're going into, that's where your expertise come in. So do you want to talk us through that? We've got some visuals flicking around here from like your portfolio, obviously. So some stunning looking projects there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the work that we do is all for creating the dream home for every client. Every client that we get in is pretty much living in the project for 5, 10 years, if not more, and they want to create a home which is going to work for them from a flow point of view, but also when they drive up to the house, they're getting that real wow impact on it. So we've been developing the whole design intent for the business over the past 4 years, and we got a good set of standards that we follow through in all of our projects. And one of the first points that you've got there in terms of getting involved, as someone like a client for us getting involved with a dream home, what really is the first thing that they should be doing. And the first thing they really should be doing is actually speaking to a professional team, but the right professional team for what they want to do. It's always good to do a little bit of research in terms of architects who is out there, and just gather some information on that. I mean, the way we are kind of set up in terms of Design Work Studios is that we look at things from each aspect. So from the design, obviously, is very important, from a planning point of view, and also from a construction point of view. So we're looking at the whole picture, so that when you come to us, like the whole professional design team is already built up. Instead of, sometimes you may end up going to an architect and they're just purely design led, and then you subsequently employ the engineers, the surveyors and the project managers aside of that, which some clients like to do, and it works for some clients because they like to be really involved with the project and like to be almost manage it themselves. With where we're slightly different is that we essentially just take that whole thing off and manage it through.
I've got quite a few people I know that have embarked on property projects, and I think that every one of them has been kind of amazed by the amount of project management work involved, and the skill set that's required to actually keep everyone on point, and even where they're putting the rest of the team in place in good faith, actually just keeping on top of that. So obviously that's the thing that you guys, I guess, from like the size of your team, how that's grown massively as well, is the fact you've got everybody in the same team. It's that whole cohesion between everyone, I guess, is a big plus point for making these projects actually come to life, rather than just few bricks lining.
There's so many facets to. I mean, when you're on site, there's so many facets. But even before that, and it's so important that everything and all the little details are thought about from day one, so that when you come onto site, it runs as smoothly as it can. But as you said, like that managing process of pulling everyone together, like the architects and engineers, is a job in itself. And that's why getting someone like a project manager involved right at the beginning is always a good way, because they can manage the whole thing from the start, and integrate all the designs and ideas that the client has.
And you've got there about the procurement options. So that's basically where I'm going to kind of invest the money with who I need involved on the project, right? So that's something else that you offer as a service and as part of what you cover?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we to be able to deliver a project, you need to obviously get the right builder involved and select the right builder. That also comes under like a professional team, but the builder is part of the professional team. So how you go out to the market and send a job to the builder is really important, and understanding what different ways of doing that are. I mean, a couple of different ways is that you get a builder involved right at the beginning, and you're almost evolving that design process with the builder. You communicate the changes with the builder, and he's updating his cost appropriately. That can be little bit disjointed because builders don't tend to like to do that. And that's why I do what I do, and I do the budget side, because it enables the design and the cost to be quite fluid.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is then the other way is the way that we usually recommend is that you do your design process, you're having someone to look over it from a cost perspective. You agree all the design intent, you go through planning and all that kind of stuff. You get all your building regulation drawings signed up. And then from that point, you send it out to a build contractor. Usually around 3 is enough for a project, 3 main contractors.
Okay.
It's always a good thing to invite those to your property before they do the price, just so they can see it, but also so they can get to know you a little bit more. These builders are going to be in your home for potentially a year more.
Yeah.
So you need to have a good relationship with them. Even if you're employing someone to fully project manage it, you still need to get on with them. And then once you send that out, set them a time frame of say 4 or 5 weeks to send the tender back. And then when that comes back, there's the whole reviewing of those quotations, which can be quite a lengthy subject at the time in itself.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. So obviously, like, you know, kind of been a topsy-turvy year, like we started off just talking about, and you've got some research here around like the actual design trends. So what's been the big difference? Nice, obvious one there at the top with everyone working from home. But yeah, what have you kind of seen then and thinking ahead? I guess perhaps you talk about more things now than you were in January, you know, for looking ahead for next year and people's requirements and how they're changing because they've just got so much time at home and want to kind of embrace their homes more. So talk me through that.
Yeah, so we've even in the new year since before COVID, but COVID I think has made it a lot more apparent is how clients, when they walk into the home, how it makes them feel, and what kind of spaces are going to make that better for them. I think clients are using their homes more than they ever were, and obviously the use of Instagram and Pinterest and all that kind of stuff is just enhancing that even more. So rooms like outdoor living where someone can work in an office, or have a gym there, so they pretty much their home is pretty much where they work, play, and just chill out. So I think that's where a lot of the increases in this, like the additional rooms, which a couple of years ago we weren't even talking to clients about. Like an exercise room is very rare that we ask for that, but now pretty much every single client is asking for it. So yeah, it's definitely been interesting. And in terms of like the color palette as well, I mean, we get involved with interior design, but over the past sort of year, the interior side used to be a lot of greys, like the 2010s were known for a lot of greys in there, and they seem to be going, the greys seem to be going externally now. So as you see on the visual you got there, the greys are quite fashionable, shall we say, externally. But then inside, it's slowly turning into more the chalky colours, like the blue that I've got behind me. The foreign ball colours are very, very at the moment. Absolutely.
Good. Okay. So then talk me through this. It's a homeowner's emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, so this is something I talk to all of my clients about, because each and every one of our clients, it's an emotional process from day one. So as soon as they step through our office, or at the moment via Zoom, it's really, at that point, they're really excited about the projects. All the emotions are really, really high, and everyone's really happy. And even going through the design process is a really nice process, and they'd like to get involved with that. They like to see what they can potentially get. But as we were talking to earlier about the process in terms of getting prices back from builders, and trying to understand that, you tend to get that kind of stuff is you're getting a little bit more realistic, and you're thinking, oh, this is real now. I'm thinking about how much money it's going to cost, how much budget I need to allocate it, and that almost you got the design side, and then as you can see at the graph, the mood level just drops right down. And it keeps slowly dropping down up until you pretty much agreed a price with the builder. And then at that point, then it does start to go up, because from that point you signed the contract, you almost come to terms with how much it's going to cost you in terms of overall money, and then you're starting to build that house from day one. So as soon as that happens, you shoot back up, you see the builders on site, you see them digging out all the foundations, and that pretty much level stays quite consistent, as we've seen from up till when the windows go in, because there's so much change every single week. And then as soon as the windows go in, the contractor starts coming inside. And when they start coming inside, there's so much that goes on in terms of all the plumbing and the mechanical and all the infrastructure they need behind that. There's not much that a client would necessarily know what was going on. So from their point of view, there's not a lot happening, which is why it then mood level drops again. And then it keeps dropping and dropping up until you're almost hitting the plastering and the finishing phase, which then you can start talking and getting excited about tile choices, paint colours, kitchen, all that kind of stuff.
Looking ahead to next year, then, do you think like that some of those like phases, are they going to be more drawn out? Do you think, like, take longer because of availability, and do you see that kind of coming into it a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a typical graph of what it probably would have been last year. This year, your windows and your plastering phase will probably be a lot lower down on that mood level, just because of lead times. And I mean, a kind of a tip going into a construction project during this time is just being mindful, if a contractor say it's going to be X amount of weeks, you need to allow probably a good couple of months before that starts, just to make sure everything is tied up and lined up, all the materials are ordered, all the work's been done, the kitchen's all sorted. And then even a couple of weeks or a month after they say it's going to be finished, just in case it doesn't, because there is a lot of facets in construction, but a lot more now with what's going on with material shortages in timber, insulation, all that kind of stuff.
I know, speaking to a lot of the other partners in the show as well, what they've seen over the last few months, and it's just certain delays, and it's that kind of knock-on effect, isn't it? So it's like something's delayed with the build, and then the kitchen's delayed, and it's just that whole kind of, it's things that are out of everyone's control a bit, but it's having that clear project plan, that clear kind of route forward is what's always key. And then you can kind of see, and you can actually then, I guess it's all about communication, isn't it, between everyone, all the parties. So very good. I appreciate it might be a little bit small on the screen for some of you guys that are dialing in to see this, so we'll share that visual as well if you want to kind of dig into that in a bit more detail, but that's great. So yeah, I mean, that was really insightful, Tom. Thanks for that. We'll refer people back to your exhibitor page just before we take some questions, because you guys have got a great offer that you're extending to everyone that dials into the Inspire Design Home Show this weekend. So you're offering your virtual consultation with 2 3D concepts you're going to create, and the design workshop as well, for that all-inclusive bargain price there for £250. So that's superb. Basically, if anyone wants to take advantage of that, just navigate to the exhibitors area, go into the Design Work Studios profile, and you can fill in the form there, register your details, and the guys will get in touch. So we'll come back now to any questions. It looks like we've got a few coming in, so let me just have a quick look here. Okay, so this might be a question more for Martin tomorrow, Tom, but Harvey's asked about the cost of submitting planning permission. Do you know anything in those sorts of areas, or that's something we can probably recap tomorrow if not?
Yeah, we definitely recap with Martin from our team tomorrow, but we do a feasibility stage, which is quite similar to what the offer is above you there, where we do the concepts but do a planning report just to gauge an understanding of whether the likelihood of it getting approved
Yeah.
for planning. And then at that point, if we assess the risk and we think it's good to go, then we'll go down the route of the planning permission. I mean, obviously, it depends on what kind of architect or which architects you use to submit planning applications, because they can range from being £1,000 all the way up to 5, 6, 7. It just completely depends on the type of project.
So the best thing Harvey can do is get in touch, and then you can kind of talk it through, can't you? I guess that's the whole premise of that. Someone else, so Mark's asked about the best time to talk to you about a future project, and because that was something in my mind as well, especially I know a few people that are looking at buying new houses, but with a view of investing in it to kind of develop it. So how early on would you get involved if someone was thinking about buying a house and had some ideas? Would you get involved at that stage so you can help them actually formulate the plan in their head of what's to come and actually the road ahead and the costs and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as early as possible. If you guys are thinking about doing something, then it's always good to have a chat with a company like ourselves to understand see if it all fits, but just to help offer you some advice when you're actually coming to purchase a home. If you're definitely planning on refurbishing and extending that, so sooner the better to answer that. Absolutely.
Good. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, that's great. I really appreciate your time, Tom. That's much valuable advice there, and everyone thinking of their great projects for next year. I'm sure that'll be invaluable. So they should all go and check you out. And you guys are on the online chat through your profile as well this weekend, aren't you? So if anyone's got questions, they can ask you directly as well after this. So, okay. All right. Well, I'll let you go, and thanks for that. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, Chris.
Cheers, Tom. Thanks. Bye. Thanks, everyone. We'll be coming back at 1 p.m. with Tony Mullen from Anti-Mullen Furniture talking about how to the top tips of creating the dream kitchen. So we'll see you again then. Thanks.